yes, we have some exciting Xbox and Bethesda Starfield specifically news to talk about today. It's an exciting time because it's not going to slow down leading all the way up until that June 12th reveal of Starfield, which, by the way, I will be streaming, so I hope to see many of you there. The most fun thing about doing YouTube for me is getting to meet and interact with you guys, and that's a great way to do it. So if you're new, consider subscribing, hang out, join the stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. However, we do have some details to get through today, a lot of interesting news to talk about. First and foremost, is it possible that we might see some Starfield before that June 12th showcase? Why it's more likely than it was a couple days ago, in fact. We're going to talk about that. We also have some leaks, to the dismay of some, probably, that have been debunked. Well, kind of debunked. And we're going to talk about leaks and that one in particular. And additionally, we'll also be exploring why it's possible we might see that 30-minute full, meaty, juicy, detailed demo of Starfield at the Microsoft Bethesda Showcase. We've been on the fence. It's going to be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but possibly we're going to get that full 30 minutes. We're going to talk about why. So a lot of really exciting things for Starfield fans to get into today. I hope you're going to enjoy. And let's kick it off with one of the more interesting ones, the leaks. Most of you at this point are probably familiar with the Reddit user Toddfield June 12th. If you're not, well, he was able to do a couple things. One, he released a never before seen interview, well, kind of a weird cropped version of a never before interview between Jeff Keighley and Todd Howard, where Todd was talking about the music of Starfield. Now, it's nothing that we haven't heard before in relation to Starfield. It's nothing that's entirely new. In fact, they really cover a lot of the same ground that they did with the most recent Into the Starfield video that they released. But it was a never before seen interview, and you could tell it was a segment of a much larger clip, which was pretty intriguing. And on top of that, he was able to guess the date of the Microsoft Bethesda Showcase. Well, turns out that he was just lucky with the June 12th date, and the interview's actually from a year ago. Yeah. Interesting. After the announcement of a June 9th Summer Games Fest conference that's taking place, which we'll be talking about later on, Mr. Matty Plays sent out a tweet where he generally just in passing mentioned this leaked interview. Juicehead was kind enough to respond, stating that, well, the interview clip is actually a year old, and it might not actually have anything to do with this year's Summer Games Fest. In fact, he went on to say that he verified this Toddfield June 12th user, who admitted that it was a hoax and this was just a troll releasing this now. This clip. What's most interesting to me is that even though Toddfield was proven to be just a troll and this was just a hoax that he's trying to throw out there, the interview itself is still legitimate. In fact, why has Bethesda been sitting on it for so long? Is it something that's going to never get revealed to the public, or is it something that we're just yet to see? Whatever conspiracy theory about this interview you want to make up, the fact remains that the marketing cycle for Starfield after the reveal is pretty self-explanatory. Following the June 12th full showcase, those floodgates are burst wide open. At that point, it's market this game to everybody that they could get it in front of, whether it's live action TV spots or additional gameplays or interviews such as this one that was leaked. And whether or not we see this exact interview, we can still guarantee that we'll see interviews of some form in a similar vein. I guess what this all boils down to, at least from my perspective, is that leaks are stupid and we shouldn't give them as much attention as we do. The fact of the matter is, A, 95% of them are going to be false, and B, when we do start getting all of these leaks, it usually is before a major event like this, which we don't have that much longer until we get the official details from Bethesda that will reveal everything we would want to know about the game. So, leaks, kind of silly. It's usually why I don't get too involved in discussing leaks here on this channel. I just don't find them worth the time or usually that exciting for that matter. Leaks are fun to speculate about, but let's get into something a bit more concrete, which is the possibility of seeing Starfield a few days earlier than that June 12th showcase. Maybe if we've been good this year, God Howard will grace us, or maybe it's actually Phil Spencer now, will grace us with an early showcase of Starfield. It's been confirmed on June 9th that Summer Games Fest is officially going to kick off with a multi-developer conference showcasing everything that the industry has to offer for the rest of 2022 and beyond. And this is an opportunity for Microsoft, along with every other studio, to market the things that they have to showcase at their own individual conferences. So the same way that Microsoft has the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, we might see something similar from PlayStation, Activision, Ubisoft, Nintendo, so on and so forth, showcasing all the games they have. And with this June 9th kickoff event, it's the perfect opportunity to say, hey, by the way, tune into our event where we showcase everything we have coming on this date. And Starfield is no different. We all know that Starfield is Bethesda's and Microsoft's biggest game that's coming out this year, and as a result, they're going to want as many eyes as possible on their showcase on June 12th. And because it's just Microsoft and Bethesda, PlayStation fans and some other gamers might not be interested. If you primarily play Nintendo games, you might not care about tuning into the Xbox Showcase. However, if you give them a little bit of a tease of what's coming, now you might get them hooked to check it out when they otherwise wouldn't. The fact of the matter is, because this June 9th is not only the kickoff event, the first event for Summer Games Fest, you'll get a lot of people looking at it for that reason alone, but they don't know what to expect. Is their favorite developer going to be there? Is their favorite game going to be revealed at this conference? A lot of different fan bases are going to tune in, which might be gripping enough, and Microsoft would hope is gripping enough to get people to tune in to the June 12th full reveal of the game. I've speculated in the past that we'll get a trailer for the trailer, and this would be the opportunity to do it. If I had to guess the marketing cycle for Starfield from this point going onwards, I'd say this month, either next week or the following one, we're going to see that final Into the Starfield episode, possibly at the end where they would tease, hey, by the way, tune in June 12th to get the full reveal, blah, blah, blah. Then following that, we get the June 9th Starfield trailer for the trailer, the official 30-minute gameplay demo on June 12th, and then marketing materials, interviews, discussions, more gameplay footage, whatever Bethesda has to offer us, leading all the way up until the release of Starfield on November 11th. It's an exciting time to be a fan, and this, I think, is going to be the kickoff for it. Now on to our last bit of news that we have for today, which is the possibility of seeing that 30-minute extended gameplay showcase for Starfield. It's what I'm hoping for, especially. I know many others are as well, but it's raised into question if that's possible. We still don't yet know. Is it going to be 10 minutes or 20 minutes? 30 minutes is what we've gotten in the past with the likes of Fallout 4 and Skyrim, those extended looks, because of course, this is the first time that we're officially seeing what the game has to offer, and as Todd Howard has mentioned in the past, they want us to see what this game is and what we're getting when it does release. That's why they wait this long to reveal their titles. But assuming that the showcase is going to be 90 minutes, which we're going to talk about that, it's actually pretty exciting. Assuming it's going to be 90 minutes for now, that means you're already taking up 1/3 of the conference for just Starfield. And I understand Starfield, it's the big kahuna. It's a chef's kiss of Microsoft's conference. I get that completely, but that only leaves 60 minutes for everything else that Microsoft and Bethesda are going to want to show off. And I promise you, there is a lot to get through, even when you consider that some of it might just be a 2-minute tease or a 3-minute cinematic trailer, those types of things. It's still 60 minutes. That's a lot to get through for two major studios. However, point number one, Aaron Greenberg recently took to Twitter to announce that they don't yet have a final showtime for the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, which means very possibly, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but it's still on the table that we might get 2-hour showcases or around that length, which would be amazing. It'd be a long one for sure, but nonetheless exciting for fans, and that opens up the possibility where Bethesda doesn't need to cram down their event or cram down the reveal. I think what we're admittedly seeing here is because Bethesda's game Starfield is the big show here, they want to make sure that it's unrestrained, that they can get across what they want to get across, and that time isn't a problem. That might be what they're waiting on. And to really nail this point home, we just talked about the June 9th kickoff show for Summer Games Fest, and Microsoft very easily could use this as an opportunity to show some of their smaller titles, to show some of these small trailers so that they don't need to take up time at the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, so that you can spend more time with the games that you want to show off, and you can kind of remove the ones that maybe still need more time for development or maybe aren't ready to show gameplay yet. Those titles can be delegated to June 9th. meaning more time for your major ones like Starfield. 30-minute demo. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Are you guys feeling it? I'm feeling it. But, you know, let's spend some time looking at it from the other perspective, right? My personal guess is 30 minutes. I'm sticking to 30 minutes. But let's just say on the complete other end of the spectrum, we get a 10-minute demo of Starfield. That's it. For whatever reason, 10 minutes. That's all we see. That doesn't mean that we won't get more footage. We won't get more gameplay after the event. There's no reason why Bethesda can't continue to show off gameplay, continue to show off snippets, right? If you look at the way that Fallout 4's gameplay was presented, it was broken down into combat, into exploration, into crafting. There were different distinct segments that Bethesda explored in detail, and they went through and they explained it, and we got to see it in real time working in that demo. Very possibly, if we only got those 10 minutes, Bethesda might kind of speed through some of these sections saying, hey, here's what's possible, and then over time release some of those more in-depth looks at the mechanics. So it's not as though, even if we don't get the full showcase live at this event, it's not as though we're never going to get to see it, which I think is my way of looking at the thing as a whole optimistically, right? It's always going to be exciting. Whether or not that's a good marketing strategy for them, probably not, because again, all of this is just about getting the most people to watch as possible, and not as many people. If you have to release some of these gameplay details after the fact, you might not hook people. Alternatively, keep in mind, if we really want to play devil's advocate, those who aren't interested might get really bored if you start showing off too much about these features that fans aren't excited for. Again, it's not a Bethesda showcase anymore. It's now an Xbox showcase. So you're merging these two fan bases. Not that they don't overlap, but I don't know. It's an interesting topic, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about it down below. I'm still sticking to 30 minutes. That's just what I'm going to go with. And on top of that, we can look forward to the follow-up interviews after the reveal, because again, that's where the marketing, the floodgates are open after that point. So let me know all of your thoughts down below. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Again, comment section the most fun for me. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. So long, everybody.